Alright, so this is our number 8 installment of our Absolute Beginner Series for piano. Today we're going to be finally be talking about how you read sheet music on the staff, on those 5 lines. So we're not going to get into any specific examples, but we're just going to learn about how to find our pitches. We've already talked about rhythm a little bit, so from there you just have to put those two things together to read sheet music. Now again, to avoid copyright, we won't be looking at any specific examples, but generally at our studio we recommend our students work out of Alfred's Basics piano course. There's an all-in-one if you're learning on your own that goes over lessons, theory, and technical. But if you're taking lessons, the lesson book by itself should be fine for the most part because hopefully your teacher is covering theory and technique on their own. But let's look at how we find our notes on the staff. And if you have any requests for anything or practice approaches for reading, we'll be getting into that more in other series down the line. But just let me know in the comments down below if you have any requests for more specific information about this sort of topic. So let's take a look at how to find our notes on the musical staff. Alright, so like we said, we already looked at rhythms, so you should know what different rhythms look like. How this is a whole note, or this is a half note, or this is a quarter note, or this is an eighth note, or these are 2 eighth notes, or these are 4 16th notes, or if you have one by itself, it looks like this, 2 little flags. So that stuff should be old news at this point. You should already know how to count them, and it's just putting in the work to actually practice counting them and getting better at it. It takes time, but if you keep on doing it, it'll get easier and easier until you can't not see them. Double negatives, okay. So now we need to understand how to read pitches. So as a pianist or piano player, you need to be able to read 2 clefs, treble clef and bass clef. We use treble clef for high notes, we use bass clef for low notes. So treble clef also has a second name. Aside from treble clef, you can also call it the G clef. And it's called a G clef because it kind of looks like a cursive or calligraphy G. That's kind of where its design comes from. And then also it points to G. So it points to G right here. This is telling us, hey, this is G, this line right here. Same thing for our bass clef. Bass clef has its own name. This one's a little bit less intuitive. It's called our F clef. Okay? So as far as it being an F clef, this guy is a little bit more far removed. If you have a cursive or calligraphy F, you can kind of have something like that. And it eventually became this. But it's pretty easy to see where it's pointing to, though. It's pointing to this line right here. It's telling us that this is F. Okay? So if we can remember F clef and G clef, that'll help a lot. Okay? This is our G clef, and this is our F clef. Okay? So from there, it's just your alphabet. Lots of times people have you memorize things like, oh, these spell face, F-A-C-E, or this says E, G, B, D, F. Every good boy does fine, or every good boy deserves fudge, or elephants go belly dancing Fridays. I don't get all the crazy stuff. It's just your alphabet. Okay, so if this is G, we know in music it just goes A, B, C, D, F, G, and once you run out of letters, you start over. So this would be A, and then after A, the next line would be B, and then the next space would be C, and the next line would be D, and we just go down the alphabet. It's that simple. You don't need to memorize anything crazy. You just need to know your alphabet, which most people do if you're watching this, right? Now, doing skips or going backwards can be harder, but you'll find that you'll just kind of have a note or two that maybe you remember. Maybe you remember G at first, but then maybe another one sticks with you because you read a song that has it in it. And little by little, you'll start to just remember them from sight. But if you forget, you can always count your way up and down. Okay, go G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And then once we run out of staff, we get one more freebie. We can write a G sitting on top of it. But then after that, you have to start drawing lines for the notes you're using. So for A, after that, we would draw a line and put it on that line. And then for B after that, we'd sit it on top of that line. And for C after that, we'd draw 2 lines, and you can keep going and going. Same thing if we go down. Below G would be F. So we're just going backwards through our alphabet now. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. So this would be an E, this would be a D, we get one last freebie here, and then we have to start drawing lines again. So that would be a C. Now this note right here is called middle C. It's really important to remember because it's right in the middle of the keyboard, and a lot of music is kind of built around that space. And then also, when we build up from our F, we go F, G, A, B, C in the bass clef. These are both middle C. So middle C is the first, we call this a ledger line. It's the first ledger line above the bass clef, and it's the first ledger line below the treble clef. So whether you see C above the bass clef or C below the treble clef, this is the same C, okay? And for F, we would do the same thing. We just fill it out, go, okay, what comes before E? F, E, what comes before E? D, what comes before D? C, and so forth, down to B, down to A, down to G. We get one freebie on the bottom, and then we have to start writing ledger lines again, and it just keeps going and going both directions. It's that simple. Now, like I said, it takes time to get to where you can do it quickly and go, okay, this is a C, this is an F, this is an F, this is an A, this is an E, this is a B. But the more you practice it, it gets easier and easier. So just keep on practicing, keep on naming your notes when you try to read something. There's tons of free sheet music online. See if you can look up a song that you're interested in, or just like a simple folk song or nursery rhyme, and try to read through it. The more you do it, the easier it gets. But the big thing is you have to practice doing it. And just like we said, don't put stickers on your piano. Don't write out the note names on your music. If you do that, you will never learn to read. Okay, I was really bad at reading the first 3 years I played anything because I just did band in school, and I didn't really read my music. I translated it and then I memorized it. And then when I went to college, I played music a lot, and I had no choice but to read it because I didn't have time to translate and memorize or translate and rewrite and stuff. So I just read, and then I got good at reading. So that's the secret to getting good at reading music, is you guys have to actually do it. So give that a try, and we'll pick up from there next time.